Who are the quarterbacks you need to know heading into 2025? And where does Georgia's tandem of two-headed quarterbacks rank next? Locked on Bulldogs.
You are Locked on Bulldogs, your daily podcast on the Georgia Bulldogs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Locked on Bulldogs, part of Locked on Podcast Network, your team every single day. I am Clint. Daniel's still sick, but we are here together. Thank you for the first listen every single day, as well as the everydayers who are here with us 5 times a week, and the loyal third segment listeners listen all the way to the end. We appreciate you all. Today's episode is brought to you by Wayfair, wayfair.com. Get your home the refresh it needs. More on them in a second. Today, we are talking about a few things. Number one, we're talking about the ranking of the SEC quarterbacks. A number of notable quarterbacks are back. A number of notable new quarterbacks take the helm for their respective colleges. And Georgia, sneaky quarterback competition, as well as whoever wins the job. And yes, I'm here to tell you, I like Gunnar Stockton. I have no problem if he is the starting quarterback. He was clearly the next in the pecking order because, again, he played in our playoff game without Carson Beck. But I'm not sold on that, meaning he's the guy going into 2025. I'm going to talk about that after I talk about some rankings. Where are they situated? We're not going to learn a great deal between now and the start of the season. With all these colleges saying they're going to get rid of spring games, which just have some integrity. Okay, it's a joke of a game anyway now. It used to be a great time for everybody to get over there, watch G-Day, watch these spring ball games, get into the stadium, pack it out for fans. That's what this podcast is all about, for fans, by fans. Now, there is a little bit of a change. It used to be, I was telling somebody the other day, going to NFL training camps, you used to walk up right to the fence as players were walking right past. You can't even get on the facilities now with these teams. It's ridiculous because of how much money is involved. We're going to see what spring games actually look like. Kirby has already said practice is more important to him than anything else, and he doesn't give any viewership to those practices. And when you do get viewership, he's doing yoga. So we're not going to learn a great deal. No one on the inside knows anything because there's no one on the inside, because Kirby Smart will never tell anybody outside of his coaches, and that circle is a tight circle, anything about the starting quarterback position. Now, some of these other SEC schools will come out and say it, which is fine. You do you. I'll take my guy Kirby above everybody else. But it's interesting to me as we look at the quarterback's return of 2025, because while we can make some guesses, we can make some statements, man, there's a lot of up and down right now in the SEC as far as quarterbacks. Quinn Ewers, gone. Jackson Dart, gone. Those are two of the most notable guys. Jackson Dart being claimed as a high riser in the draft stock, which I'm not against that. I think he showed a lot of good skill. I think he could be a very, very adequate, if not good, NFL quarterback. Nothing against that. Quinn Ewers, I would stay the heck away. Just please don't touch that with a 10-foot pole. Number of other guys returning. We have Lagway coming back for Florida. We have Garrett Nussmeier, probably right now, to me, head and shoulders above everybody else. Lenora Sellers, Arch Manning taking over for the aforementioned removed Quinn Ewers. Diego Pavia gets another year, which, by the way, eligibility is a myth now. There is no such thing as eligibility any longer. Nico Iamaviala is back as well at Tennessee. That's not changing. Marcel Reed back. And Taylon Green back for Arkansas, which is going to be interesting to me to see how he fares, because I think actually he's very, very talented. A number of other guys. Kentucky gets a new quarterback coming in. Matier comes in from Washington State over to Oklahoma. I actually think he should be noted and thought about, because that's a dang good transfer quarterback coming in to Oklahoma. Auburn gets the rejected Oklahoma, which I don't know what Arnold's going to bring to that offense. I really, really don't. I don't think he's going to be good. I don't think Auburn's going to be good. I think they got scraps on that. We're going to talk about that. Let's get to the rankings, where I would place some of these. And I'm just going to do it in a couple of tiers. Not every quarterback's going to be ranked on this because I'm not going to really, really care about some of these teams at their quarterback position. I'm sorry. I'm just not going to. Probably going to look at the top upper crust of them, give a couple of tiers. And I'm going to start off with a couple of quarterbacks who should be thought of higher than where they're at. These are a couple of quarterbacks that should be, in my humble opinion, looked at and said, you know what? Why aren't we giving them their dues? And I'm going to start with Lenora Sellers. Look, he's in most rankings, he's in the top 3. So it's hard to say what he's pretty dang high in the SEC. But as far as even across the country in quarterback, I don't get why Lenora Sellers isn't being discussed more. This kid did not have a cast at all whatsoever at South Carolina last year. Had some notable guys, but not a great deal. Skill is down. Recruiting class is down. Shane Beamer doing a heck of a job over there. I told y'all, and I jumped off the Beamer bus a little too early because he's actually doing more than adequate. You should not want to get rid of him, South Carolina fan. You shouldn't be pulling the Sunbelt Billy approach. What's happening down there in Gainesville? What you should be doing is embracing Shane Beamer. But Lenora Sellers should be rated higher than where he's at right now. I have him as 1 or 2. It doesn't matter to me at that point because I think there's a couple other guys that should be spoken of highly. Garrett Nussmeier, to me, is likely in that category as well. Lenora Sellers should be higher. Another guy that should be higher on most boards, Austin Simmons. Look, I get it. Ole Miss goes on from Jackson Dart. You don't know exactly what you have quite yet in Austin Simmons. I understand. I get that. But the dude, when he was there, when he got some time, and when you've talked to other coaches, and Lane Kiffin grew up quite a bit. Last year, going into this year, grew up quite a bit to me. I think we will be talking about Austin Simmons next year as, why did we miss on him? Why didn't we talk about him? Why didn't we give him more due? Why didn't we discuss him as a Heisman guy, as a SEC? If Ole Miss is going to make a run, because I think they dropped off in a lot of other positions, it's going to be because Austin went ahead and carried the offense on his back. They're losing dudes. They get some transfer portal guys. I get it. I understand. They're losing dudes. Defensive side of the ball as well. It's going to be hard for Ole Miss to replicate their success they had last year. But if they do, it's going to be because of Simmons. I think he's top half. I think he's top 5. Just based on talent alone. I'm calling my shot. I'm putting it where it is. And then lastly, look, Green in Arkansas. When you watch him on film, when you see him play, when you see him get over there, the tier that he should be in is not spoken about as a forgotten quarterback. It should be discussed that if Arkansas is going to make any headway of keeping Sam Pittman, by the way, Sam Pittman's last year is this year. Should have been last year, but it will be this year. Green can go ahead and make a case for himself to get on over to some draft boards, to get onto the radar of a bunch of talented teams, to maybe shock a few people a la Lenora Sellers. I have no problem with Green doing that in Arkansas. I think he's very, very, very talented. Those are a couple of guys that I would rank higher than where they are at, depending on where they're at. A lot of boards have Green as 10. A lot of boards have Austin somewhere below 8, somewhere like that. And like I've already said, Lenora Sellers is top 2 for me. A lot of these lists that you see out there have him in the top 5, top 4, certainly in most of these cases. We're going to come back after this. I'm going to tell you who's should not be thought of highly. Why are we doing this to ourselves? Why are we inflating these guys? We do it every single year, and I just don't understand it. Chill out, please. But first, these. These are, in fact, Wayfair. After the holiday hustle, there's nothing like giving your home a little TLC. I always find that decluttering and refreshing my spaces helps me get back into routine. Whether you're tidying up, cleaning out, or just want to give your space a new look to start the year, Wayfair has everything you need, all within your budget. I'm currently looking at furniture from a huge selection to find the purchase. It has free, no hassle delivery, even with larger items. There's something for everybody, every style, every home, no matter your space or your budget. Wayfair makes it easy to tackle your New Year's home goals with endless inspiration from every space. Give your home the refresh it needs with Wayfair. Head to wayfair.com right now. That's Wayfair, Wayfair.com. Wayfair, every style, every home. We are back talking about SEC quarterbacks and what it means for Georgia, as well as a number of these guys will be playing this year. Some of the guys I already mentioned we won't be playing. Lenore Sellers won't have that. Austin, we're going to be seeing him again. What does that look like for us? Green, not going to get him. I think they are higher ranked than what everybody is putting on. And so maybe that's good for us. They don't have to face them. However, a number of these quarterbacks that everybody keeps telling me, just shoving it down my throat of how great they are, how incredible they are, how talented they are. I'm looking at it and I'm saying to myself, what is going on? How is this possible? Because I just don't see it. So let's start with a group of people that I do truly think should not be spoken about in high regards whatsoever. Marcel Reed. I'm sorry. You had your day in the sun. You're at A&M, so you're always going to have 8 wins as your ceiling. Marcel Reed showed out, played well, athletic, fast, fun. But you know what's wild to me? Diego Pavia played a better season than he did. And Diego Pavia, I don't know talent-wise what we're going to say. Many people will say Marcel has the higher talent on that. I don't know if that's the case. I have no idea. Because Diego Pavia took a far less talented team with far less resources. And depending on what you think of coach, I think Lee is actually doing a dang good job and might be top half of the SEC coaching wise now, not for product on the field, but coaching with what he has. Much like Kirby Smart had he should have won coach of the year in the SEC because he did more with a Georgia team that did not have the same amount of dudes as we've had before in a kind of busted quarterback situation, busted injury situation. I think Kirby with wide receivers that couldn't catch much documented. But I think Clark Lee is doing some things at Vanderbilt. But Diego Pavia is a better quarterback to me than Marcel Reed. And Marcel Reed is like the poor man's version of Diego Pavia, which is crazy. Why is he getting love? Show me something at all, because if you're going to tell me the talent that he has, the type of game that he plays, like I already mentioned, Diego Pavia is better than he is. DJ Lagway, I would take above him as well. And DJ Lagway has a better game than Marcel Reed. Okay. Jackson Arnold is kind of a good running back kind of guy like that. I don't get why we keep doing this with A&M and their quarterbacks. Stop it right now. Another guy. Guys, when are we going to learn that Tennessee is a joke of a program? And here's what they rode last year. They rode an incredible running game with the second best running back in the SEC, maybe first, a great offensive line, rode that all the way to a very, very good season, made a lot of noise, played a lot of good games. That and a defense. They had the front seven was incredible. The back end of the secondary was suspect. Front seven was incredible. Got after the quarterback, stopped the run, ran the game, dominated the trenches. I was told that Josh Heupel is an offensive genius, and Nico Amaviala is the dude. He's not. Why? Why are we doing this? He does not have the zip, the drive. He does not have the readability. That offense will never, ever let him. It's kind of like a fish in a fish tank or a lizard in a lizard tank, in an aquarium, in an atrium. It will only grow to the size that you give it. Okay? That's it. Nico might have developed elsewhere. I don't know. It seems to me that he has physical traits that are very, very, very good. But in that system with Josh Heupel, I don't understand how you can tell me that he will be anything better than a 1-2 tuck the ball go kind of guy, because that's the system. That's what Josh always wants, has always wanted, will always want, because he thinks he's the smartest guy in the room. He's not, and his system gets figured out, and it's quite simple. 3 things to stop Tennessee. shove the middle of the pocket back into the lap of the quarterback. That works in most cases, in most situations, but with somebody like Ohio State or even Notre Dame, wasn't the case with them. With Ole Miss, it's certainly not the case. They get them off platform a little bit. They move the ball around. They have some run game. That's really, really impressive. That's point one. Point two, hit the receivers off the line of scrimmage for less than 3 seconds. Be physical, play up front. And three, when in first and second down, and you're not going to get them on third down to go ahead and get anything, which is why last year, when they ran the ball, they did so consistently, not with giant chunk plays, but they were ahead of the chains and they did it fine. You get them in the passing game, like I just outlined, and they're toast. They're done. Other teams can overcome that. Ole Miss can overcome that. I have all the respect in the world now for Lane and Ole Miss. I don't for Tennessee. Nico's not it. What other guys have had success in the system because the receivers and the quarterback were on the same page. The receivers are down quite a bit. Squirrel White's not it. Tennessee got Nico in there and they thought he was it. He's not it as well. He should not be ranked as high. And the two that just continue to dumbfound me. I'm about to list two names. I think they are talented. I know they are talented. I have yet to see anything out of them in high school, nor in college, nor in how their game translates to tell me that they are the bona fide top three, top four, top five, top half of the SEC, top 10 in the nation guys. And these two names mystify me. If you have these two names anywhere on your list as a top quarterback in the SEC, I need you to show me your work more. Arch Manning, DJ Lagway. I can't stand Florida, which is why I'm putting DJ Lagway on here. I can't stand Florida, but DJ, if you just, well, he's been injured. You can't fault him for that. When healthy, I've seen people like this before. I've seen this style of play. It does not translate well to the SEC. It does not translate well to anything that Florida wants to do. Billy Napier doesn't know how to run this system. It can be figured out. It can be taken care of. And he runs well. Great. Cool. Okay. Awesome. Okay. Milrow ran well. Didn't do a whole heck of a lot, right? Against us, it did. I understand that. Thank you, Alabama fan, for mentioning that and putting that in the comments. I appreciate you. But over a whole season, it can't and it won't and it don't. DJ Lagway, come on. What are we doing to ourselves? He can't read. He underthrows the ball. He throws it in the turf every single time. He sails over the middle, which you can't do with safeties back there. I just don't believe and don't think DJ Lagway is it. And secondly, what are we doing talking about Arch Manning like he is already if he was better than Quinn Ewers, he would have played. Quinn Ewers wasn't good. Quinn Ewers knew the system and was more experienced. Arch Manning might not be the guy. I would still take him on my team. It's a lotto ticket. I think he was more talented than Quinn. That I'm not doubting. I don't think he was ready to take the system from him and lead the helm for Steve Sarkisian. I think Steve would have played him if he was ready. He wasn't ready yet. You could say, well, now he's got another year under the belt. There's no more discussion, Quinn or not, yada, yada, yada. Quinn was not a good quarterback. Anybody drafts him, maybe Tennessee Titans will, like they did with Levis, because that's almost the same type of person. They're very similar. Will Levis got a little bit more of a build to him than I think that Quinn does. Arch Manning is a better runner. We saw that. He might be a better processor. He might be a better thrower, but I don't know quite yet. They didn't trust him enough to have that part of the offense when he came in. He came in the red zone to go ahead and get 5, 6, 7 yards of rushing. Why are we talking about him like he's all of a sudden Drew Brees? That can't be the case. He's not accurate. He might have a cannon of an arm. Who the heck knows? But stop talking about him like he's top 3. That's disingenuous. I would have Diego Pavia ahead of him right now. 100%. I have Garrett Nussmeier ahead of him right now. I'd have Lenore Sellers ahead of him right now. All those guys are ahead of DJ Lagway and Arch Manning. Stop it with this nonsense. We're going to come back after these. I'm going to talk more about what it means for Georgia and the quarterback, where quarterback for Georgia slots in the guys I just listed. But first, these. All right, let's talk about where Gunnar Stockton or Ryan Puglisi land in what I just laid out. Okay. Because it's really important that we first understand. And I need you to hear this. I need you to receive this. I need you to know this. There is not a person on the planet that knows definitively who the starting quarterback is for Georgia next year. Get that out of your head. Secondly, it's going to come down to Kirby Smart, and he has made the best decisions every single year. So stop. Third, either one of these guys goes, the offense is going to be the same. Stop telling me Gunner's going to bring a more running attack to it. Maybe. We still called read option, speed option, RPO stuff with Carson Beck because Carson Beck was nimble and could move the pocket and could move outside of it and could move while carrying out a fake. Stetson Bennett did the same exact thing. Just because Gunner is a little tougher, that I believe is true. His attributes are toughness, grit, determination, all that. Doesn't mean they're like, oh, well, we're going to run a ton more with him. No, not necessarily. Don't say that. That can't be the case. I think the offense is still the same offense no matter what. You might feel more confident and comfortable, maybe, calling a couple run plays near the end zone with a couple of these guys. But Ryan Puglisi is not at Georgia only because he can pass. He's at the Georgia because he can also move with his feet. Stop believing the dual threat or pocket quarterback. Those two distinctions don't last anymore. A pocket quarterback cannot last in the landscape of college football or NFL. Puglisi has to be a guy that moves. And we've seen him do just fine. G-Day, we've seen him high school film. He is absolutely mobile. He is absolutely movement oriented. So I think him and Gunner are going to go neck and neck into this spring. It's a competition. Do not believe the hype that one person already has a lockdown on the quarterback position. That's a false narrative. Ryan Puglisi has just about a good of a shot as Gunner Stockton. Period. And you should be happy with that. Now, I will say this. Whoever of these two quarterbacks makes it out of spring, makes it out of camp, makes it into the season, where you and I will find out on snap one who the starting quarterback is, who the starting running back is, who the starting wide receivers are. It will be slashes all the way on the depth chart, or the word "or" all the way on the depth chart for days. Kirby Smart's not going to tip his hand. He's not going to tell you. He's not going to give you anything whatsoever before that. Stetson Bennett, even when he came back, it was all presumed. It was all known. We all guessed it. But he didn't come out and say, well, Stetson's our guy. We're riding with him no matter what you say. 100%. We'll never look at it. It's not a competition. He said it's a competition. Stetson's got the leg up and he's got the experience and he's got the performance. But so okay, I've hit that. I've beat that horse. Whoever wins out of these two, y'all, I'm excited for them. I think they will be top 5 quarterback in the SEC when all is said and done. That's not a far fetch. Carson Beck had lots of good statistics. He had a lot of interceptions. I understand that. Stetson Bennett had incredible statistics. There are yards and touchdowns to be had in this offense. Just first and foremost, okay? There are yards, there are touchdowns, there are plenty of places to go in this offense to find notoriety within the SEC and college football landscape. First. Secondly, y'all see who we brought in? Did you all notice who we brought in, a wide receiver, who we have returning at running back, and who we have at tight end? Because if you want to look at recruiting services, look at tight end recruiting. Look at that room really quick. Look at the 4 and 5 star guys. Look at the size, the speed, the height of those animals over there. And it's a different world. Tight end recruiting has been and will be on lockdown for a long time. As long as we have Jimmy C doing what he does best. And I'm not trying to say anything else besides I am glad he's recruiting the state of Florida and pass catchers. Perfect position for him. Now, all of that returning depth, a new offensive line, which I am thrilled for. Look, we're losing a ton of snaps. We're losing a bunch of dudes. But whoever wins this starting quarterback position will have at his disposal an offensive line that is fresh and hungry, because last year's group wasn't it. We'll have a dedication to the run game with Nate Frazier likely ahead on the pecking order so far for amount of rushes, amount of attempts. But that's not to discount Roderick as well as Branson, who are coming back, who are animals in their own right, fully healthy, fingers crossed. Let's go get it. A stable of running backs, a new offensive line, a dedication to the run game. Kirby Smart has already said it. Mike Bobo's already said it. The nation has already said it. We can't succeed with a rushing attack that depleted again. It just won't. It won't last. It won't do any good. I think we have a better rushing attack than we do passing attack next year, because I think we, instead of passing to set up the run, I think we'll run to set up the pass. And when we pass, we have the best transfer class Kirby Smart's ever had, and best transfers in the nation come in that want to be developed. Branch and Thomas will be there. I think those are locked starting position wide receivers right there. As long as y'all please just block, please just block, please just block. In practice, put your head down, get excited, and go block somebody. If that's the case, you have all the reps and all the targets and all the passes you want. I promise you. If you block for Nate Frazier on the edge, if you get down and you go in motion and you take on a linebacker on a double team coming across with the tight end up to the backer, if you go one-on-one and you're not afraid to put your hands inside and get an attempt and keep going, even if Justin Williams goes ahead and cracks on you, you will have the heart and the attention of Kirby Smart, who cares about that. So Thomas, Branch, please, I'm begging y'all. Listen, I know you listen to the podcast, but listen to those words of encouragement and advice for you. Our quarterbacks know how to throw the deep ball. Go look at Ryan Puglisi's high school camps that he was a part of. Go look at the film that he had when he had upper crust wide receivers. Go look at Talon Taylor coming in, CJ Wiley coming in. Those are the four names I am most excited about for this coming year. We've already seen Gunnar Stockton be able to hit on those, as well as Dylan Bell drops passes, as Aaron Smith catches one and then gets tackled by somebody on the staff, which, by the way, not his fault, or the ref who falls and does that whole thing and yada, 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 yada. Not his fault. Just to clear that up. We know he can do it. We have seen Puglisi do it. This is an offense that is primed to be a top 3 offense in the SEC, and that's with Ole Miss, and that's what I think a renewed Alabama. Whoever wins that Alabama starting job, by the way, should be counted in the top 4 or 5, 100% as well. I would have them likely ahead. Ooh, I'd probably put maybe Arch, DJ, and them on the same plane. That's where I'm putting them. Whoever comes out as the starter quarterback for Alabama, those 3 are likely in the same category as each other. It's talented and could pop. But man, Alabama's going to be dangerous. I think Gunnar Stockton or Ryan Puglisi is the top 5 as well in the SEC as quarterbacks. He's in that. They are, whoever that is, they are in that category as well. That could go up to 4, right behind Pavia, right behind Sellers, right behind the upper end of the quarterback room. I'm excited for us. I think we have great aspects of this offense, and it will matter a great deal. This has been Locked On Bulldogs, part of Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Be well.